Is it? Yeah, it's 9 o'clock here. Yep. Okay, we're live.
All right, let me get this. Oh, I'm excited. Yes, there we are. Okay, so I'm grabbing this. Copy that.
1, 2, 3. Let's take out the phone. Okay.
We are live. From Honolulu, Hawaii.
So everyone can still hear me, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I hear you fine, Dean. I'm almost ready.
Okay.
Got to
All
post
right. Gotcha.
and we will be ready. Okay, we're live on the Facebook. Let me jump over to Insta. All right. From
How you doing over there?
almost ready. I just need 1 second. I'm almost ready, Dean.
Okay.
Just give me 1 second. I got to do one more thing. Funny. Okay, I got to go back here real quick. Get rid of this. Now I'm going here to make sure we stay live. Okay. Hang on 1 second. Okay, Dean, I am ready. I'm looking and I'm not seeing you oh, there you guys are. Okay, bro.
Hey, Glenn, you can also you are right up on the phone, so you don't have to talk loud. You can actually kind of try and keep your voice down a little so that, because your voice is just hitting me square in the face. So yeah. All right.
All right, episode 52, the final edition of Dare Me 1.0. Dean, have fun, man. G, have fun. I'm ready when you are, bro. Let's start the show. We're going to do them outside of the open and on with it.
You are breaking up a little bit. Your microphone is breaking up.
Oh, well, wait. Let's not go live if we're having a technical problem. Damn, Murphy's Law, we did all those mic checks and everything was fine. And now all of a sudden, what about G?
Well, I'm picking him up through your mic, so it's just you were just cutting out.
Shit.
Yeah,
I know we haven't started the show. Hey, anyone watching? We always go live before we start the show, just to make sure this is why we go live before the show, to make sure everything's working right. Do you want me to log out and log back in?
No, let's just kind of.
I mean, we can't go if my mic ain't working. We got to figure it out.
I'm not sure if there is a figure on the thing. It's probably in the settings. I don't know if you have auto level or I don't know. Don't know how I would fix it. I mean, I'm not sure there is a fix.
Well, I'm just curious, Dean, what happened? We did all those mic checks and everything was working fine. And now all of a sudden, right as we're ready to go live, we got a problem. And are you picking me up? You're saying is it staticky or I mean,
No. It's just once in a while. Now all that you just said was fine. So I don't know what to tell you.
okay, well, you know what? We are out in the middle of the Pacific Ocean in Hawaii, so maybe that has something to do with it. Hopefully, our connection holds up good and we know, have a good show. You're picking me up right now, you say, eh?
Yeah.
Okay, it's not staticky. It's just
No.
that it's cutting in and out once.
Yeah. We're dropping. Sometimes we're dropping a few words there. So
God, this is another reason I'm so glad, bro, that we're not going to be going live anymore. Maybe once in a while, but special occasion. But I'm so happy we're just doing it recorded and then play it later. It'll be so much easier. All right, Dean. Well, hopefully, let's keep our fingers crossed that we keep our connection, and let's do it. You ready, G? Yeah. All right, let's start the show, man. Let's do it, Dean. Thanks.
okay.
On average, just in the United States, about 220 people die every single day from an opiate overdose. By the time we finish this show, 8 to 10 people are going to die from an opiate overdose. If we get even one person, one viewer with this program that we might be able to help with some of the information that's shared on here, then it's all worth it.
Hey everybody, I'm here with Glenn Victor, and I just want to say hey to everybody in the Dare Me podcast world out there.
Billy Bob Thornton, thanks, bro. I really appreciate it, man. All right, you rock.
What's up? It's your boy Lamar Odom with Glenn Victor.
You, man.
Podcast, the Dare Me podcast, #1 podcast.
Oh, you rock. Thanks, bro. Appreciate you, man.
Hi, I'm Morat. I'm here with Glenn from the Dare Me podcast, and we're hanging out.
Yes,
It's great.
I love it. Morat, you rock. All right.
Hey, I'm Lila Drew. I'm here with Glenn, and I want to give a big shout out to everyone listening to the Dare Me podcast.
All right. Lila Drew, you rock. Thank you.
You rock.
All right.
Hi, it's Romy. I'm here with Glenn Victor. Shout out to everyone on the Dare Me podcast.
Yeah. Oh, you rock. Thank you, Romy.
Hi there, I'm here with Glenn Victor, and I want you to listen to the Dare Me podcast. You must.
Al Stewart, you rock, brother.
Oh,
Thank you.
I'm Al Stewart.
You rock. Thanks, bro.
Hey, this is Tom from Leisure, just out here at the El Rey with Glenn Victor on the Dare Me podcast.
Yeah, you rock, bro. Thanks, man. All right.
How's it going? I'm Jaden from Leisure. I'm here with my man Glenn on the Dare Me podcast. Thank you for listening.
Hey, welcome to the Dare Me podcast, everyone. Aloha. We are coming to you live right now from Honolulu, Hawaii, and Oahu. And I am so excited about today's show because it is, in fact, the final edition of the Dare Me 1.0 show. And I have been looking forward to doing this episode of the show because if you're a regular viewer, listener to our podcast, you know that when we started this thing, and even some people, know before we started it, we made a commitment to do it for 1 full year. And today is that 1 full year, episode 52. And right now we want to say hello to our producer and co-host, Dean Baker, who is all the way over on the east coast of the United States mainland in Orlando, Florida. Dean, shout out, bro. What's happening?
Hey, Glenn, how you doing tonight?
Good. Well, I'm out in the middle of the Pacific Ocean in Hawaii. I just want to make sure you're picking me up okay.
So far, so good. Everything seems to be well.
Awesome.
Just watch out for those rogue waves.
Yeah, well, hey, we also got to introduce, sitting right next to me here is my son, Glenn Jr., that boy G Money. Glenn, thank you so much for being on this final edition of the show with us.
No problem. Happy to be on.
Yeah, well, hey, everyone, in case you didn't know, the reason that I am coming to you live on this edition of the show from Honolulu, Hawaii, is because we announced this on the program, I think it was last week, as Glenn lives in Hawaii now. Blows my mind. I posted something on social media this past week, like a video of the area, and I was like, when your son and daughter live in Honolulu, Hawaii, and their backyard is the Pacific Ocean, like, when did that happen? And so, Glenn, I won't go into the long story, but I just got to say, bro, I am so proud of you, man. Not only are you my son, but you're my best friend too. And, Glenn had an employment opportunity out here. It was kind of like an offer he couldn't refuse. And he's been out here for about a month and a half now, has it been, Glenn?
Yeah, about a month and a half.
Yep. And your beautiful wife, Awana, she's been out here and found the place that we're coming to you live from right now. But she went back to Miami, where y'all were living, to wrap up some loose ends and have all your stuff shipped out here. And she'll be joining Glenn out here, I think, next week. And then y'all will both be living here in Honolulu. And so, I thought about doing today's show like outside and like live at the beach and stuff, but it would have been way too loud because, first of all, the waves are like really loud. It's a little bit windy. And then also, I didn't want to lose our connection. So we're here at Glenn and Awana's house where we have a Wi-Fi connection. Right before we started the show, we were live just kind of checking the mic and camera, and it was kind of going in and out a little bit. So we're kind of keeping our fingers crossed, hoping we maintain a good connection because, again, y'all, we're out here in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. And Dean, I appreciate you holding it down there on the mainland all the way over in Orlando, Florida, where you've been a rock star for 52 episodes of the Dare Me 1.0 podcast, man. So thank you so much for everything you've done with this show, bro. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it.
Well, that's why I'm here. That's why I get paid the big bucks, and that's why I do what I do.
Yeah, the big bucks. I wish, bro. But hey, we don't want to talk about it too much right now because I want to talk to G Money, and we got some cool videos we're going to show. But we announced it on this podcast a couple of weeks ago that we are coming back. Tonight is the last edition of Dare Me 1.0. We made that commitment to go a whole year. This is that night. 52 weeks in a row, and we're going to take a break for a little while, and then we're coming back with Dare Me 2.0, but we won't be going live every Sunday. We're going to record the show during the week and then post it on Sunday nights. We might still go live once in a while for a special occasion, but it'll make Dean and I's life a lot easier, believe me. But anyway, so with all that said, y'all, I don't want to spend we're going to do a little bit different format tonight. Not going to spend a whole lot of time about what this podcast is all about. I've done that on 51 previous episodes. We are live right now, by the way, on about a half dozen different Facebook pages, half dozen different YouTube channels. We're live on X. We're live on LinkedIn. We're live on Threads. We're live on Twitch, all the things. I always try to direct people to that Dare Me Podcast YouTube channel because I kind of oversee that. You go there, click on the videos tab, you'll see all the episodes there, and you can go watch them and hear my whole story. But the real short version is, y'all, I got hooked on opioid pain medication. It was a 9-year run, and it almost killed me. And thank God for the support and encouragement from people like my son and the rest of my family and friends like Dean and all of you that have reached out to me, that have been viewers and listeners to this podcast and helped me get through it. And I'm so happy to announce, y'all, that if I get through this podcast without getting filled up, it's going to be a miracle. Man, yeah, at midnight tonight, y'all, I will celebrate 3 years clean and sober. So I'm so grateful. Yeah, thank you for the applause there. So anyway, with all that said, y'all, yeah, that's this tonight's podcast is a celebration in a lot of different ways, y'all. Celebrating, like I just said, my 3-year anniversary of being clean and sober at midnight tonight. Celebrating my son here, living in Hawaii with my beautiful daughter-in-law, Juana. I have a very special announcement I'm going to be making near the end of the podcast about my daughter, Alyssa, and son-in-law, Cam. And we have a special video and a song him and I did together. And that's all coming up, y'all. So if you're just jumping on board with the podcast, it's going to be a fun show. You know, we're probably going to go about an hour and a half or so. So anyway, with all that said, let's bring that boy G back on camera, Dean, because I want to talk. Oh, and I see we got a little comment from John Bacashwa. I'm sure that's my sister Carol there with them. Congratulations on 3 years. So thank you. Y'all appreciate that. Dean, just want to make sure you're still hearing me. Yep, there he is. Okay, because like I said, man, we're coming to you live from Hawaii. Just want to make sure we got a good connection and all. So with all that said, Glenn talked me into going on this hike yesterday, and it was amazing, y'all. We're going to show some pictures and video of it in a moment. But before we do, Glenn, I just want to bring you on. We're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk about the Dustin Poirier fight last night, because that was huge. This was just a monumental weekend for celebratory things in my life, you know. So anyhow, bro, you know, you might be biting at the bit to say a few things. So let me give you the floor. What do you got to say?
Congratulations on 3 years clean and sober this weekend. Congratulations on getting through 1 year of the podcast with 2 episodes, and what a milestone, and just couldn't be more happy for you. And it seemed like yesterday we were living in gratitude as we are now, and happy to be on the final episode for the first year.
Wow. Well, thank you so much, G. And by the way, y'all, we're not going to hold Glenn hostage here for the whole show. He does have some things to do and all, but he agreed to be on with us for a little while here on the front end. And then we do have a couple of other guests that are supposed to call in. Shabang's supposed to call in. He's been a regular guest on the podcast. And, you know, anyway, that's all coming up, y'all. So, Dean, if we can, let's show a couple of those photographs of me and Glenn at Cocoa Mountain, the Cocoa Hike Trail that I sent you. And we'll talk a little bit about this. There we are. Look at that, y'all. That is the very first step of that stairway that goes all the way up to the top of that mountain. And by the way, Glenn, you don't even know that we were talking yesterday trying to figure out how far we thought that was. And I looked it up online last night after you went to bed. It's 1.5 miles up and 1.5 miles back down. And the elevation is approximately 1,200 feet. And it's approximately 1,000 steps. And so there's a picture of us on the very first step. And I actually had posted on social media, every journey begins with the first step, man. So I just got to ask Glenn, because you had talked to me about this like, a week or two before I got here, that you wanted to do this. What the hell got in your head making you think you wanted me to do this, you know?
Well, I did it once a couple of weeks ago, and then I enjoyed it so much I did it a second day in a row. And the second day I did it, I was kind of reflecting on life at the top, and I thought, wow, if you're planning to come here for your 3-year celebratory weekend, what a better way to celebrate than us completing the hike together. And also, I personally remember when you were going through your withdrawals the first year, when you helped me move to Miami. You were getting a bit winded just going up a flight of stairs, because I was moving into a high-rise apartment. So going from just getting winded going up a flight of stairs to being able to climb a mountain together, I thought would be something, you know, powerful to do together. So
Yeah.
yesterday was, it was just great.
Oh man, we're going to show some video in a minute, but you know, when you were explaining it to me, I kind of envisioned like, you know, Rocky going to the top of the stairway there in Philadelphia and all, and I thought, I got this, no big deal, I can do that. I get to this fucking mountain and I'm like, oh my God, dude, you really think I can do this? And you're like, you got this, Dad. And so we did, man. We went all the way to the top, got some great pictures and video, and
it was going to be challenging.
Yeah. Well, with all that said, Dean, let's go ahead and show these are just short video clips, y'all. But I wanted to give y'all an idea of what we did yesterday. So let's show the first video, which was the Cocoa Head Trail on the way up. If you got that one handy, let's play it, Dean.
Let's go, Dad. There you go. Amazing.
Wow. Yeah, that gives you a pretty good idea. G filmed that video, obviously, of me still walking up. I think we might have been about halfway up at that point. And, you know, for me, as I told you and some of the other people going up yesterday, the hardest part for me going up was I was getting winded. And of course, the higher elevation, you know, it affects your breathing. Going back down, didn't affect my breathing at all, but damn, talk about leg day. I'm still feeling it in my calves and my thighs today. And yes, Dean, thank you for bringing that up. That is us at the top. We made it all the way to the top. That's the final step. So y'all got to see the first step and the final step. And oh my God, it was so awesome, y'all. And so then we have a video of on the way down. And Dean, if you want to play that real quick, let's go ahead and watch that one.
All right, y'all. I thought I'd record just a short little video on my way down Cocoa Head Trail. We did it. That's my boy G down there. He's a little bit ahead of me. We fucking did it. I'm on the way down, man. Going down ain't no joke either. It's definitely a lot easier than going up. But we fucking did it. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Shiva, the God of destruction and renewal. My God is a badass, y'all. Fucking Shiva. Fucking did it, man. Oh my God. Can't believe I fucking did this. Oh my God, y'all. Fucking amazing. God is good.
Yeah, God is good. Ooh, man. Oh, trying not to get filled up. As you can tell, I was getting a little filled up even in that video, man.
So Glenn, I gotta ask you.
Yes.
How are your knees?
Yeah, they feel like jelly. Well, my knees are okay. It's the calves and thighs, but a little like jelly. A little bit like jelly. Yeah.
I gotcha. Yeah, I'm just hitting the stair climber in my part of my rehab, and 5 minutes on the stair climber and I'm cooked. I am so cooked. So no, I look at that and I'm just feeling pain, but you know.
Well,
being a firefighter, I had to do something called the CPAT test.
Yeah.
And they made you put on the whole here, and part of to pass that test, you have to do that stairmaster without using the handrails for like 15 minutes or something like that, and it's brutal. That's the hardest part of the test.
And yeah, my knees are for crap right now. You know, after, you know, one's been dormant for 3 months and then the other one's been just in recovery. So man, I'm looking at that going, I take a knee. If I take a knee, I'm like an 80-year-old man getting up. It's you know, but I think it's going to get better. I'm working on that. So
you stay consistent, like in a couple months, and your progress started.
Well, I got to interject, and I'll just say this. I hadn't even thought about talking about this, but you guys just made me think about this, and I'm going to bring it up. I am a grown-ass 62-year-old man, y'all, and you've heard me say on this podcast many times, I've always worked hard and played harder. I am now, thanks to this kid sitting right next to me, in the best I've been in since I was a young man, really since I was a kid, because Glenn is a fitness enthusiast and helped coach me back to health. Anyway, where I'm going with this, man, I did get winded going up and I had to take breaks, but I made it to the top. And then, Glenn, if you remember, somebody comes up to us and goes, hey, you may not want to go over there, man. That kid's over there heaving. So Dean, kid, I call him a kid, but he was probably between 25 and 30 years old. Great kid, nice guy. We talked with him a little bit, but he was literally heaving by the time he got to the top, but not yours truly. Yeah, we think he might have been hungover, but who the hell would climb that thing after being hungover? But nonetheless, the point I'm making is here, I'm a 62-year-old grown-ass man, and I made it up there, and that young guy was having problems. So anyway, with all that said, Glenn, thank you so much, for suggesting we do that. Now, I got to show this next video. Glenn didn't think I was going to show this because he was like, oh my God, Dad, I can't fucking believe you had me film that video. And there were two girls sitting there. They must think we're fucking nuts. But I wanted to show it anyways. Now, I will give y'all a little fair warning. For some reason, the quality of this video is a little blurry. I think we just didn't have a great connection when Glenn was filming there. But this is me literally at the exact moment I made the bottom. And you heard me mention my God Shiva in that last video. Well, I'm going to mention him again right now. So, Dean, if you want to play that video, let's go ahead. It's a short clip. We'll talk about it in a moment.
One more step. I don't think I can make it. Just one more step. Oh, God. I did it! Fuck yeah! Started from the bottom, now we're here. Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up. Oh my God. That karma, 9 years of using, paid in full. Shiva, the God of destruction and renewal. My God is a badass. Fuck yeah, I did it. Hell yeah.
I know those girls probably were frightened, like, oh my God, this fucking guy's nuts. But man, I couldn't resist showing that, G, and thank you for recording that, man. I was stressing G out like a motherfucker at the top of that thing. Hey, record me here, record me there. He was like getting frustrated, but it's all good, bro. We love each other so much, man, and I am so grateful to have you in my life, Glenn, and that you stood by me and supported me and have encouraged me. Oh, man, I'm trying to get through this without getting filled up through my whole struggle with addiction and recovery, because recovery ain't just about getting clean, y'all. It's about starting to process all the feelings and emotions you go through. Because as I've said on this podcast many times, one thing I was taught in the 12-step rooms, without going too far into it all, is that there's good news and not so good news when you get clean and sober. The good news is all your feelings and emotions come back. Not so good news is all your feelings and emotions come back. And man, you start reliving different parts of your life and getting emotional about it and processing everything. And so, G, you've been a warrior, standing by your dad, man, and being that rock for me when I needed it. I'm the dad and you're the son. And sometimes, man, you have those role reversals, but I'm fucking back, bro. Like I told you when we got to the bottom of that mountain yesterday, I'm back, man. And I'm here for you for life, bro. Oh, man. So blessed, y'all. So blessed. So anyway, yeah, like I said, all your feelings and emotions come back. Let's shift gears, y'all. We couldn't resist talking about Dad a little bit and showing that video, but now we got to talk about the fight. All right. So, Dean, we sent you a picture of me and G with that boy, Dustin Poirier, the UFC fighter. No, that's not him. That's Jake Paul. We're going to talk about him in a minute. But there's a picture of me and G together posing. There it is. Thank you, Dean. And if you're a fight fan, if you're a UFC fan, you already know that Dustin Poirier came back and won by knockout last night. And oh my God, man, me and G, after we hiked the mountain, found the Buffalo Wild Wings not far from there and went and watched the fight, and it was awesome. So, G, what do you got to say about it, man? I know you want to talk a little bit about this.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's powerful because when you were going through, your withdrawals and, trying to kick the opiates, I shared what you were going through with Dustin because he met you when you were still using in that picture. And when I got to share what you were going through, he gave me some words of encouragement to share with you. And then he's kind of been part of the journey as well.
Yeah.
So I was able to share with him that you were celebrating 3 years this weekend. So it just was magical that his fight landed on the same weekend. So after doing that climb yesterday, we went and watched him fight, and he ended up winning in spectacular fashion with a knockout. So it was just cool for everything to just be combined in that one weekend.
Yeah.
He was, part of that, journey of motivation. So
he was. And you know what? Without going too far into it, I know you know this already, G. I was still using in this picture, and I was kind of sort of dope sick. I remember this night like yesterday. We were living in Orlando at the time, and we went and drove down to Lauderdale to meet up with Dustin at this, get together he was having. And I was so low on the pills that I had. I think I had like 3. And at that time, I was eating like 15 of them a day. And I was waiting for the plug to come in, and it just didn't happen. And I'm like, God damn, now I got to stretch these for this whole trip. And then tomorrow I'm going to be out, And so I powered through it, and you didn't know at the time that I was struggling. And so, yeah, even though I got a smile on my face there, y'all, I was feeling horrible inside. And you're exactly right, G. Dustin has been such an inspiration to me, both directly and indirectly, because I know what an inspiration he's been to you. And, you mentioned it. I should talk briefly about it, that you guys have become buddies a little bit. Not like you're hanging out on the weekends and all, but you guys, I know, communicate. We've talked about it on this podcast regularly. And I just thought it was so cool that you posted a picture today of me and you saying, hey, congrats to my dad on 3 years clean and sober. And with everything now, the big fight and the victory last night and everything else, he still took time out, to acknowledge that and like that picture and send me congratulations. So, Dustin, I don't know if you'll ever see this, but if you do, bro, I'm forever grateful, man, and so proud to call you friend, and forever grateful for the friendship you have with my son. And also, I want to take just a moment to talk about the Good Fight Foundation, which, hey, if you're watching our podcast and you don't know about the Good Fight Foundation, it is a wonderful nonprofit that does great work in the community. And, G, I want to give you a second to talk a little bit about it, because I know you've supported that foundation a couple of times with their 5K run, and actually flown from Florida to Louisiana and all that. So tell us a little about the
Foundation's a nonprofit that's ran by Dustin Poirier and his team. They're always setting goals. They're not tied to one specific goal. For this particular fight, they partnered up with the local food bank in Lafayette, Louisiana, to raise money for homeless to share meals and get food. So they're raising money currently for that. So if anybody's looking to donate to a good cause, they can go to thegoodfightgroup.com. And you can place a donation, which will go to the Good Fight Foundation, partnered up with the food bank. And yeah, it'll be for a good cause. So.
Right on. Well, hey, Glenn, I appreciate you talking about that. And for anybody else, yeah, man, if you go online, Google the Good Fight Foundation, you'll find a world of other information about all the great work they do in the community on there. So anyhow, shout out. And again, congrats to that boy, Dustin Poirier. We had so much fun watching that fight last night, man. I'll tell you what. Everybody in that Buffalo Wild Wings was rooting for Dustin. And, that was the co-main event. They had that O'Malley fight as the main event. But as you and I were saying, G, that Dustin fight, that was the people's main event. And, man, when he won that fight, that fucking crowd went nuts. A hell of a lot more than the O'Malley fight. No disrespect to O'Malley and the guy he fought. That was a good fight. But, man, when Dustin knocked that dude out, it was, like, fucking so exciting. I had so much fun, man.
Yeah, he's
so,
like you might get knocked down, but you always pick yourself back
well,
up and come out swinging. So
I appreciate that, Glenn. And like you just said, how symbolic was it? Like I said at the front end of the show, this weekend has just been such a monumental weekend for me. It's like so overwhelming, all these milestones in one weekend, 3 years clean and sober tonight, wrapping up 1 full year, 52 weeks of the podcast tonight. Dustin coming back from his last fight and knocking the guy out last night. It's just all so symbolic and very transitional because, we also, here in Hawaii, they don't acknowledge daylight saving time. They just stay on the same time year round. But around the rest of the country, this transition into daylight saving time, I've always thought of it of a transition into spring, which symbolizes new life. And so, oh, man, yeah, it's just very overwhelming, all this symbolism this weekend, and the Dustin fight was definitely a part of that. And so shout out Dustin Poirier, man. Congrats, bro. Looking forward to seeing where your journey takes you next. So, Dean, you brought up that picture of Jake Paul, but I also sent you a Jake Tyson promotional photo because they just announced, we're on the topic of fights. I couldn't resist getting your take on this, G, and then we'll cut you loose, bro. Do you see that photo I sent you, Dean, of the Jake Tyson? Yeah, there it is. They announced this is legit, man. When I first saw it, I thought it was bullshit. Somebody just fucking around putting this out there, but this is legit. Mike Tyson coming out of retirement to fight Jake Paul is going to be on Netflix. And did you see the date there, Glenn? That's your birthday. That's your actual birthday, July 20th. I thought that was kind of a coincidence. So, yeah, Dean, if you want to show that next pick, the Jake Tyson 2, I got to meet Jake Paul. And I know he takes a lot of shit in the media. People say, oh, he's not a real one. He's just a fucking YouTuber and tried to become a fighter and all that other stuff. But when I met the guy, man, that's when I realized there's the pick. Thanks, Dean. He is the real deal, y'all. You shake his hand, you give him a little, man hug, and he is like all muscle. I mean, dude was solid as a rock. So anyway, I couldn't resist showing that picture of him. You know me, y'all. I like to name drop, which, by the way, shout out to all those people on that reel we played at the beginning of the show that gave shout outs to us on the Dare Me podcast. We got some more shout outs coming up too. But Glenn, I got to ask, what's your take on that fight and who do you think's going to win?
I don't really have a take because I don't really pay that much attention to Jake Paul. However, Tyson's a legend. I know it's like a 34-year age difference, so I don't like seeing a 60-year-old fight a 30-year-old, or 29, whatever age he is.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it'll be a good fight if Tyson can put together a good training camp. Him being the legend he is, I think he'll knock him out, but we'll see.
Yeah. Well, anyways, with all that said, I couldn't resist talking about that because, we just talked about the Dustin fight in UFC and everything. And, man, they just announced that this past week. And like I said, I didn't think it was legit at first, but it is, So, yeah, I'll be watching, I'm sure, people that are in the fights, so I'll be watching too, just out of curiosity, if nothing else. But anyway, G, I don't want to keep holding you hostage, man. thank you so much for all your support and encouragement, and thank you, by the way, too, for being a guest on this podcast. This is not G's first appearance on the podcast, y'all. You were on easily a half dozen different episodes throughout the whole past year. And my favorite one that you were on, and by the way, for anybody else watching, listening, if you'd like to go back and watch it, go to that Dare Me Podcast YouTube channel, click on the videos tab and scroll down, and you'll see one that says Get Fit with G and Me. Yeah, I always try to come up with these catchy names that rhyme or whatever. And that was a very in-depth, deep dive interview we did with you, G, where we showed, your transformation and journey with getting fit, and mine as well. And you shared some really great tips as well about fitness and exercise on that show. And so, yeah, bro, I'm forever grateful. Thank you so much for supporting my journey, not just with getting and living clean and sober, but also with this crazy ass podcast I got myself into, It's been fun, though, hasn't it? We had some fun with it, didn't we? Yeah.
Well, I'm proud of you, and just one day at a time, and just couldn't be more happy for you. And I know you're in the best shape of your life, and
I am, thanks to you.
Living in gratitude, so I couldn't be more happy you were able to come out, and I'm proud of myself for being able to
endure my craziness, right? You should be, yeah.
No, I'm so happy for you. And,
thank you.
I'm looking forward to Dare Me Podcast 2.0.
Yeah, and we'll have you back for that. Okay, well, we're going to cut you loose, G. Like I said, we're not going to hold him hostage. Oh, thank you, bro. Love you, man. Love you. All right, do you, and we'll catch up here in about an hour or so. But we got some more stuff we're going to do on the podcast. How cool was that, y'all? We had my son, Glenn Jr., on the final episode of the Dare Me podcast, where we are coming to you live right now from Glenn's house, actually, here in Honolulu, Oahu, Hawaii, where I'm visiting him. I go back to SAC on Tuesday, and it was just so much fun having him on. So anyway, y'all, I mentioned shout outs earlier, and I got to do a couple right now. Yes, I celebrate not 1, not 2, but 3 years clean tonight at midnight. And I share that clean date anniversary, that clean date birthday, whatever the hell you want to call it, with a couple close friends of mine that I just love and admire and respect and look up to in Sacramento. And I wanted to send them some shout outs right now. I told them I was going to, they were cool with it. And they, I hope get to see this. So first, Dean, if we can, let's bring up that picture I sent you of that girl, Leah K from Sacramento, who actually was one of the very first people I ever met when I started attending the 12-step meetings in and around Sacramento. You got that photo, Dean?
I think so. Is it the girl with the glasses?
Yeah, that's Leah. Yep, there she is. Shout out, Leah. And look how pretty she is. So beautiful. Her and her boyfriend, Daniel, have been so nice to me. Actually, one of the very first meetings I ever went to when I moved to Sacramento about 1.5 years ago, them and some other folks invited me out for ice cream after. And we went out to this place and we all got sundaes and shakes, and there were probably about 8 to 10 of us there. And man, it just made me feel like I was right where I was supposed to be, part of the recovery community in Sacramento. You know how it is when you're the new kid on the block, man. You're nervous, anxiety, and oh my God, I'm trying not to get filled up. Because y'all just made me feel right at home. I knew I was home and right where I was supposed to be. So, anyway, sorry, y'all. Shout out and congratulations to that girl, Leah, celebrating 3 years clean tomorrow as well. And now the next shout out we want to do is to another friend of both of ours, that boy Tyler Ullum, who we've also had on the podcast. Tyler is the famous rapper and musician from that duo Moving Forward Music. And Dean, you should have that picture of Tyler I sent you. There he is, Tyler. Shout out, Tyler. I actually just talked to Tyler earlier today, by the way. And he is celebrating 4 years clean at midnight. So, yeah, man, yours truly, 3 years clean at midnight. That girl, Leah, 3 years clean at midnight. And that boy, Tyler Ullum from Moving Forward Music, celebrating 4 years clean at midnight. My birthday buddies in recovery. So grateful for y'all's friendships. And by the way, we're going to talk more about Tyler on upcoming editions of the podcast. Some of y'all, if you're a regular follower of the Dare Me podcast, you know we've had Tyler on before. He was a guest. And I see we got some people in the chat room. Debbie says, hi, guys. Love you. Hi, Debbie. Thanks for watching. Hope you're enjoying the show tonight. Anyway, though, yeah, man, I talked on this show a lot about that boy Kasky, the rapper, and, one of his producers and my buddy Anonymous, Marlon Sorrentino Mass, one of Kasky's producers and road managers. They're coming to Sacramento at the end of April. And there's a lot of moving parts going on right now, but we're working on getting Tyler and his partner Josh from Moving Forward Music on the bill to warm up for Angel Hill and Kasky. And so, speaking of Kasky, let's do another shout out video, Dean. If you got that shout out video we got from Kasky and Anonymous that when I attended their Future of Artists Summit, they did a video for us. So you got that one handy, Dean? Let's play that right now. Well, I'm hoping we didn't lose our connection with Dean.
I'm here with my dog. We had the Future of Artists Summit. I just want to give a shout out. It's Anonymous. I'm here with Glenn at the Future Artists Summit. Just want to say, keep following your purpose. Keep answering your calling and fucking turn up.
Yo, it's your boy Hector Sounds. Shout out. I see y'all. Keep grinding.
Man, I'm here with my dog. We had the Future of Artists Summit. I just want to give a shout out.
Yeah, shout out. Thank you, Kasky. Thank you, Anonymous. And by the way, I forgot we had Hector Sounds in that video too. Hector, a Grammy award-winning producer, worked together with Post Malone and Drake. And, like I said, I love name dropping. And I'm just so proud to be able to call some of these guys friends and buddies, that I've had this opportunity to meet, being involved in the music world. And, without going too deep into it, I mentioned it on a previous episode of the show.
Hey, Glenn.
Yeah,
Glenn, we have a phone caller.
Okay, let's take the call. Who's on the line?
Caller?
Dean and Glenn, good morning.
Oh, my God. Is this Awesome calling?
This is Awesome Bukhari from Saudi Arabia. How are you guys?
Wow, awesome, man. Oh, man. Thank you for calling. How are you, brother?
I am good. Glenn. And how about you? How are you doing?
Bro, I am like in awe right now that you called in. Here I am coming to all our viewers and listeners live out in the middle of the Pacific Ocean on the island of Honolulu, Oahu, Hawaii. Dean is on the east coast of the mainland in Orlando, Florida, and you're coming to us live from Saudi Arabia. The world sure has gotten smaller with the internet, hasn't it?
It has, Glenn, absolutely. I couldn't argue with that, but I wouldn't miss this call for the world. When you told me that it's your 3-year anniversary for being, away from that stuff, it's a huge accomplishment, Glenn. I wanted to congratulate you and tell you what a milestone, man. What an achievement. This is something that requires so much determination, guts, and confidence to do it. I'm so proud of you, man. So I couldn't miss this. I had to call in and congratulate you and tell you, well, what an achievement, brother.
Wow.
I'm so proud of you.
Oh, awesome. Thank you so much, man. That means the world to me, literally, bro. And I will say, man, it's been a long road, but I am at one of the best places I've ever been in my life because of the type of support and encouragement that I've gotten from real friends just like you, and everything you just said, man. It means the world to me. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to call in to congratulate me. And I know there's a big time zone difference too, bro, so that means the world to me. But hey, since we got you on the line, and by the way, I should probably tell people that, you know, Asim and I are colleagues. We haven't seen each other in a few years, but when I was in my professional life and career, as you know, Asim, I worked for a big company called the United Safety Council, and you and I brokered some workplace safety training at the largest oil company in the world. Literally one of the proudest accomplishments of my entire working career. And I'm so forever grateful for your vote of confidence in me in, brokering those deals. Because as you know, bro, they went off with a hitch, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely. They went off really well. And again, I thank you as well, Glenn. You know, it takes two to clap, and you were on the other side to make it happen, and that's why they went off without a hitch. It was a great accomplishment. One of the milestones, I would say, and even in my career path, doing that with you, Glenn. So thank you. And
Well,
Glenn, I just want to circle back on your accomplishment for 3 years. I wanted listeners to know and understand. There's a lot of people who are on this path of sobriety, and sometimes, even despite the internet, despite the world being such a small place, it's hard to find real support and help. Now, can you tell us a little bit about what helped you on your 3-year journey, apart from all the factors that kind of helped you get along 3 years? Because 3 years is a long time, man. That's like 1,000+ days, and it's amazing what you've accomplished. So if you can tell us a little bit about that, I would appreciate that, man.
Oh, bro, I'm more than happy to. And by the way, just a friendly reminder, as you know, this is episode 52 of the Dare Me podcast. We're bringing this first season to a close after tonight. We're going to take a little break for a while, and then we're coming back with Dare Me 2.0 a little bit down the road. So the reason I bring that up is because 51 previous episodes that anybody can go watch on the Dare Me Podcast YouTube channel. Click on that videos tab, and we go into great detail about your question in all of those episodes. But to answer you right now, Asim, and I appreciate you asking that question, I, first of all, have to say, I wish I could answer it in 60 seconds. I wish it was that simple. I wish it was that easy. There's no silver bullet. It's not like you just, go into a rehab center, for example, and as I've often said on this podcast, they sprinkle pixie dust on you and everything's okay and you move on with your life and you're happy, joyous, and free. It's not that. There's work to be done. And so I'll also say this, Asim, and again, bro, I really appreciate your question. I have said on this podcast before, one thing I've learned, somebody taught me, and pardon my language, is that any old asshole can get clean if they really want to. Anybody can get clean, go into rehab, go into detox, kicking your sister's basement like I did. People have literally handcuffed themselves to their bedpost so they couldn't go get dope until they got through the withdrawals. Hopefully somebody going through it wouldn't have to go to that extreme, but people do that. The key to answer your question is not getting clean always, but how you gonna stay clean. Obviously, the most important thing is get clean. whether it's under medical supervision, kicking on your own, going into rehab, whatever you got to do, get clean, get that shit out of your system, detox. And then you got to have a support system, whether it's going to 12-step meetings. And I'm not saying that's the answer for everybody, because not everybody likes 12-step meetings. It's been a big part of my recovery. It's helped me more than I could describe. Just like I sent a couple shout outs to a couple friends of mine back in Sacramento. They're huge parts of my support system. Fitness, you know, we've talked about it, going to the gym with my son Glenn, who was on earlier, you know, that's a huge part of it. Learning, you know, to eat healthy, things to that nature. And then to wrap up, you know, my response to your question, Awesome, is having a support system, friends like you. And I am forever grateful. I can't even begin to tell you how much it means to me when I'm going through the course of my day sometimes, and I have bad days like anybody else. I mean, I'm having a great day today, and most of the time I do have peace and serenity in my life again, but I have bad days like anybody else. And that's when I think about folks like yourself. I think about you a lot more than you might realize, bro, and the inspiration you provide and the support and encouragement you provide for me. So it's very important to have a good support system and network. So thank you so much, bro. Like I said, for being on my side, I'm forever grateful, Awesome. And I hope I kind of sort of...
You're welcome.
Yeah. Well, hey, let me shift gears if I may, Awesome, because I was hoping that we could take a moment to talk about this. I know just wrote a book, and I am so excited. Dean, if you might be able to find something about it, Awesome has a book on Amazon right now, and maybe we could show a picture of it. Awesome, I can't wait to read your book, and I'd love for you to talk with us a little bit about, you know, the inspiration. There it is. Echoes of Tomorrow, A Change of Humanity by Awesome Bakari. Thank you so much, Dean, for finding that up. Tell us about your book, Awesome.
Glenn, you know, the book actually came about during COVID. So during COVID, you know, when everything, just like all around the world, everything had shut down. We were all confined, at least in this part, we were all confined to a limited movement, and I was confined to my house. And I just started writing a little bit, you know, just every day I would write 2-3 lines. I took a lot of inspiration from Star Trek. I took a lot of inspiration from Isaac Asimov. He's a nonfiction writer, and he's written books like I, Robot, which was turned into that movie I'm sure everybody's seen, by Will Smith. So, you know, all science nonfiction has been a big influence in my life, along with the space program that started in the U.S. And this has been, since I was a kid, my dad has always talked about space travel and the future. And I just started writing based on whatever came to my mind. You know, every day I would just write a couple of lines. And then I just put it all together, and there you go. I sat down with a publisher and an editor. They helped me out a bit. It's not a very big book. It's only 46 pages. It's basically a thought process. It's not character focused. It's just my belief and intuition in regards to what potentially happens in the future. So. I put that together, and hopefully you guys would like it. It's available on Amazon UK and the US and Amazon stores worldwide. So it's hope everybody enjoys it, and it's something that I put together, man.
Wow, awesome. Just one more reason, bro, that I am so proud to call you my friend. I can't wait to read the book. Again, everyone, as Awesome just mentioned, it's Echoes of Tomorrow, A Chapter of Humanity by Awesome Bakari, available on Amazon. And as I mentioned, Awesome, this is the last episode of the first full season, 1 full year, 52 weeks of the Dare Me podcast. We're going to step back, take a breather, and and come back with season 2. And we're going to have you back on again and, talk a little bit more about it. But I can't encourage our viewers and listeners enough to go to Amazon, order Awesome's book, and then we'll talk about it again more down the road.
Yeah, Glenn, I just posted the link in the chat for the Amazon page where the book is.
Excellent. Awesome. We got.
Thank you, Dina.
Yeah, and so for our view, and that'll be there even after. We're live right now, Awesome. But of course, we post the recorded show on that Dare Me Podcast YouTube channel, and that link will be there now, man. So, congratulations! Shout out, Awesome. And again, bro, I know you're coming to us all the way from Saudi Arabia.
Thank you, brother. And congratulations to you, Glenn. Again, 3 years. And you doing what you've done, you're a huge inspiration, man. I can't tell you how many people, and me personally, you've inspired in regards to what you've done and how you've changed things around. And keep going strong, brother. We're here for you. And again, you're inspiring people, man. You're inspiring me. You're inspiring a lot of people. You don't know. You're having that wave effect. So thank you. And again, I'm so proud of you for doing what you've done, man.
Thank you so much, Awesome. And I'll just say it real quick before we cut you loose, bro. You've heard me say it before on this podcast. I can't tell you how much what you just said means to me because I do get self-conscious. There's that whole thing they call imposter syndrome where sometimes I get off the air of doing this and I think, oh, good God. Done. I put myself out there. What do people think? Oh my God. And, when I hear someone like yourself, who I admire and respect so much, tell me what you just said, man, that means the world to me. And of course, as you know, we've heard from a lot of other people that, say we've helped them. And so that's why, I thought about calling it a day at the end of this first year, but man, it's like I got this mindset now of can't stop, won't stop, man. If me sharing some of the I've had in my life can help even one person, then bro, it's all worth it because life's too short. I have no right, is how I feel, to keep to myself what I went through if it can help another person. So thank you again for saying that, and especially thank you for calling in. Awesome. Love you, brother.
Love you too, my friends. Take care, Glenn. And I can't wait for season 2 of the Dare Me podcast. And I'm looking forward to it. And keep doing what you're doing, man. Thank you so much, Glenn. God bless you, brother. And again, proud of you.
Thank you, man. We'll talk to you soon, Awesome. Good night.
Wow. Okay.
Good night.
Okay, back to back. We've got another surprise guest.
Okay, who's on the line now? Oh,
what's up?
What's up, Shebang? Coming to us live from Detroit City, the Motor City. My brother. Oh, my God, Shebang. I am so happy you called in. How are you, my friend?
Yeah, I'm doing all right, man. I'm a little mad at my brother because he was sick. And he came home when he was sick, and I feel like he got me sick now because I've been feeling kind of fucked up today. But other than that, man, I'm blessed, I'm blessed.
Well, you are blessed. And please send a shout out to your brother for me, who we've interviewed on this podcast, one of the members of that Detroit R&B rap group, Rare Heart. I am just so grateful to both you and your brother, Shebang, for inspiring me to pursue this path in music that I have. I don't know if you saw, I posted some reels on social media a couple of days promoting tonight's show, and I used some of the music that I recorded, like Tom Petty, Mark Foster, Post Malone, and helped me produce, man. And so I am so grateful because, as you know, Shebang, I celebrate 3 years clean and sober tonight, and you and your brother have been such a huge part of that. So thank you, man, and it means the world to me you called in tonight. You still there, my brother? Hey.
Yeah, I'm here now, dude. My connection was cutting in and
Yeah,
out.
yeah. Hey, believe me, we're flying by the seat of our pants tonight, Shebang. I'm here out in the middle of the Pacific Ocean in Hawaii. Dean's all the way over on the East Coast in Orlando. We just had Awesome from Saudi Arabia. Now we got you in Detroit City. So, hey, man, I'm just glad you called in, bro.
Yeah, man, dude. I want to publicly say congrats, bro, on your fucking 3 years, man. Just seeing the journey of how much you've changed, bro, and you've grown. It's inspired a lot of us, So.
Wow. Thank you so much, Shebang, for taking time out to call and for the congrats, bro. And for anybody who may be watching or listening, who's maybe, a little bit new to the podcast, Shebang has been a guest on this show, about a half dozen times, haven't you?
Yeah. I'm definitely not a stranger to it. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, so I got to say, man, that anybody who may want to, hear more from Shebang, you can go to that Dare Me Podcast YouTube channel, click on the videos tab, scroll down, and you'll see there's all kinds of episodes he was on. I think my favorite one was the Shastized Dare Me podcast when you and I went and visited Mount Shasta. Wasn't that cool, bro?
Dude, cool that's an understatement, bro. That place was something else, man. I think anybody that's seeking some deeper spirituality should check that place out.
Yeah, it's magical. There's that saying, there's something about Mount Shasta. And I know that sounds cliche, y'all, and all that other stuff, but I'm just telling you, I've done my share of traveling around the country and other parts of the world. As you recall, Shebang, have said, I never, ever have felt a gravitational pull like I did anywhere I've ever been as I did at Mount Shasta. That place, there's just something about it. It's magical.
Yeah, magical for sure.
Yeah. So anyway, though, we had a lot of fun. Well, listen, I got to mention this to you, bro, because I know you're on the road. I could tell. And, I'm figuring you probably missed the first part of the podcast. But me and G went on this journey yesterday where we climbed to the top of a dormant volcano, a mountain called Cocoa Head here in Hawaii, in Honolulu. And when I got to the bottom of it, bro, I filmed a bit. Yeah, there's a picture he just brought up.
Wow.
Yeah, that's us there at the top. Well, I recorded a video and I want you to see it. In fact, Dean, can you play it again, the Shiva video? Because Shebang, you'll take special interest in this. All right. Can you play that again, Dean? I know. But, and then we'll talk.
One more step. I don't think I can make it. Just one more step. Oh, God. I did it! Fuck yeah! Started from the bottom, now we're here. Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up. Oh my God. That karma, 9 years of using, paid in full. Shiva, the god of destruction and renewal. My God is a badass. Fuck yeah, I did it. Hell yeah.
Oh my God, dude. That's fucking awesome, bro.
Bro, I couldn't help but share that with you because without going into too deep of a story or detail about it, I'll just say, Shebang, you have a unique understanding and unique perspective on me finding a God in my life that just God, man, it's been, pardon the pun, it's been amazing, the stories of how I was looking for that spirituality in my life. And you know that the night I got clean, I didn't know it at the time. I found out 10 days later was what's called the Night of Shiva. And for anybody who's watching and maybe don't know, Shiva is a Hindu god. And I joked around on this podcast, before, because we do talk about enlightenment on here, I believe in the great creator and all that stuff. I just never talked about it a lot because I don't want to turn people off thinking this was a religious show or the whole God thing. But it's like, I've joked around before, Shebang, and said, man, that boy Jesus, he tried to save my ass so many times in my life, and I relapsed a couple times, and I just kind of pictured in my crazy mind Jesus and Shiva hanging out, and Jesus is like, I don't know, man. I tried to save that motherfucker too many times. Maybe you can have a hand at it. And fucking Shiva said, I got this, and came in. I got clean the night of Shiva, and I didn't even realize it at the time. And here I am 3 years later, bro, celebrating 3 years clean and sober. And you and your family and your mom even, as you know, sent me a message a couple days ago that this is, kind of a ceremonious, symbolic time for Shiva. So I couldn't resist sharing that video with you. I thought you'd get a kick out of it, bro.
Dude, that video is awesome, bro. And the one thing that came to mind, man, we gotta make it a thing to take a trip to Mount Kailash, which is, I think we talked about this. It's a mountain range in northern India, and people say that's where Shiva resides. Like that's where his body resides.
Yeah. We talked about Mount Shasta. I talked about Cocoa Head that me and G touched yesterday. That picture there. And I tell you what, man, I was thinking about that at both of those mountains that, man, we got to do that one day. So there you go, man. All right. Well, hey, Shebang, I won't hold you hostage, man. Let's put that on our bucket list. I can't thank you enough for taking time out of your schedule to call me and congratulate me. And I got to tell you, bro, without getting too flowery and all that other stuff, I never, ever could have done this without you, man.
Oh, man. Don't get me all emotional, man. Listen, bro, you did it yourself, man. We fucking guided you. You guided us. But, at the end of the day, bro, you took those steps, man. You made that decision, so.
Well, bro, we may not see each other in person all the time anymore, and for those watching and listening, Shebang and I, we stay in touch. We're texting and calling each other every week and stuff. Bro, I miss your physical presence. And that first year really that I was kicking and got clean, man, we were like inseparable, hanging out and shit. And I meant what I just said. I really don't think I could have done this without you, bro. And I'm forever grateful.
Hey, love, man. Love, for real. You've impacted me a lot too, man. And I'm not even going to say nothing else because I feel like words is just not justice at times,
I get it, bro. Okay, man. Well, hey, you and I, man, we could talk for hours. But I'll cut you loose, man. And thank you so much. Please say hi to Shub and your family, your mom and dad. And we'll.
Sounds good, man. Peace out, y'all. Have a good one. All right. Peace out, Dean.
Thanks, Shebang. Wow, how cool is that, Dean? We got to have Shebang on the Derby podcast, final edition of the 1.0 version. Just a friendly reminder, if you're jumping on board maybe just now into the show, we are coming to you live right now from Honolulu, Hawaii, for the final edition of the Dare Me 1.0 podcast. We made a commitment to do it for one full year when we started it, and that is 52 episodes. And there's that boy, our co-host and producer, Dean Baker, who's been along for the ride every episode of the show. Dean,
so Shebang, he said something about Mount Kailash. What do you?
Yes. That is a mountain over in the India, China area.
Yeah.
In enlightenment, spiritual, in the Hindu,
Gotcha.
They believe that Lord Shiva still, his spirit resides in that mountain, and people make pilgrimage. That word's hard for me to say. Pilgrimages. People, do, and go there all the time. I mean, all day, every day, all year round. And so Shebang and I have talked about how we would love to do a pilgrimage there. And man, they say it's just so moving that you can feel the spirit, if you're into all that stuff. Shebang and I are, as I've talked about on this podcast, we're into vibes and energy and that whole thing. And just like we talked about with Mount Shasta, man, it truly is magical. The feeling you get there is beyond description. And people say that's how it is at Mount Kailash. So, yeah, man, love to go someday. Hope to do it. Yeah. Well, hey, I mentioned briefly, Dean, that, Shebang and his brother Shu have been so instrumental in leading me down this path of singing and producing music and Logic and auto-tune and all that stuff. And, that was one of the topics for this podcast in our hashtags was music. We talked about drugs, addiction, recovery, enlightenment, music, and exercise. And so spend a little time talking about the music, man. Like I said, with Bank, I produced some promo reels or created these promo reels for tonight's show. And I used a few songs that I covered. I covered Mark Foster and the Knock song, Ride or Die, and did a reel. I did a Tom Petty song, Breakdown, and then I did the Post Malone Circles. Now I'm just saying, y'all, I'm a humble guy, but it takes balls to cover them guys because they're all fucking legends and superstars. So if you like following your old pal Glenn Victor, go to my social media, my Instagram and or Facebook page, and those reels are there, and you can hear me singing. So part of the reason I wanted to go into that, y'all, is because this past year, man, I have been so blessed as part of my musical journey to meet some of the coolest artists. You saw some of them on the front end of the podcast in that shout-out reel Dean played. You saw Kasky, you saw Anonymous, you saw Hector Sounds. I'm going to do a couple more shout outs that we got for the Dare Me podcast right now. And the first one I want to play is from this unique artist. Oh my God, I love him, man. His name, he goes by the stage name Mehro, Mehro. He has a song called Whore that just the name, of course, red flags on YouTube and all that other shit. But it's all about this girl being bullied in school, and it's very powerful. I can't encourage you enough to go and check it out, man. And the dude has a vibe and energy about him that is so inspirational. And I was blessed. I got to meet him at this concert I went to, and we got a shout out from him. I got to spend about 5 minutes chatting with him, and actually we're going to try to have him on the podcast. When we do the 2.0 version, I was talking to one of his producers there after I met with him and mentioned the podcast. He said, "Oh yeah, man," he gave me his card actually. So anyway, Dean, if you have that shout out from Mehro, let's go ahead and play that right now.
Hey, I'm Mehro, and I'm here with Glenn Victor.
Hey, y'all, dude.
Listen up to the Dare Me podcast, where we're looking to save lives and make people appreciate the time that we got here.
Say that, bro. Mehro. All right, thanks, bro. You rock. How cool is that? Shout out, Mehro. And thank you for the shout out for the Dare Me podcast, Mehro. That's awesome. And by the way, y'all, he just announced within the past couple of weeks, he's going on tour. He's going to tour the States again and hoping to catch one of his shows. And now we're going to do another shout out. Some of y'all have heard me talk about on this podcast several times, this young girl that I just love. Sometimes I think about the music I listen to, and I think, man, I must have been a teenage girl in a previous life or something, because I love all these young female artists, and that's not me being a creepy guy or nothing. It's just I love their music. Girls I've talked about on here like Benny and Mallrat, who we got a shout out on the front end, Lila Drew, Romy, and anyway, with all that said, there's this other young girl who, God, I just love, man. I found her music about a couple years ago online. And she's been doing music since she was a little kid, and she does all her music with her dad, Ragnar. Her name is Claire Rosenkrantz. I've seen her play live now 3 times, and I think she's all of like 20, 22 years old, if that, whatever it is. And of course, she's gorgeous. She's beautiful. And so anyway, I saw her at a show in San Francisco at this place called August Hall this last year. And she wasn't feeling well. She had to postpone that show a couple times, but she ended up doing it. And we were supposed to have a meet and greet, but I think she was trying to keep, distance from people because she didn't want to get sick again. But her dad, who plays bass in her group, was out meeting and greeting with people. And that's what's so cool as part of her story, y'all, is she makes all her music with her dad. And there's like videos out there of her as a little girl sitting on her dad's knee at a piano. And I just think it's so fucking awesome. How cool is that, man? That this guy, this father, this dad makes music with his beautiful young daughter. That's awesome, man. And she has a huge following, not just around the United States, but literally around the world. And so Ragnar gave us a shout out on the Dare Me podcast. And so I couldn't resist playing it, y'all. So Dean, if you want to play, there's a little clip of Claire at the beginning of the show I went to, and then you'll hear the shout out from Ragnar. Let's go ahead and play that, Dean.
Victor, and we're going to all listen to the Dare Me podcast.
All right, it's Ragnar Rosencrantz. Claire's dead, y'all. Rock and roll. Thanks, bro. Really appreciate it. Oh, you rock. Of course, man.
Wow. How cool is that, man? We got a shout out from Ragnar. And yeah, I put that together. I edited some video of her. That's like that song we heard from her, that clip, was like, I guess, the first song that really put her on the map. It's called Backyard Boy. That one's been out for a long time, but oh my God, y'all, go check her out on YouTube or Spotify, SoundCloud, whatever platform you like, and do a deep dive into her catalog. She has such great music. And then we showed that little clip of Ragnar playing the bass there because, he plays the bass, man. He's good as hell. And it was so cool of him to give us a shout out. And so I also wanted to kind of separate that shout out from the ones we did at the front because, as I mentioned, I just think it's so fucking cool that here's this dad making music with his daughter. And so, speaking of daughters, y'all, I mentioned earlier on this podcast, I have a very special announcement. Oh, God. If I get through this without bawling my eyes out, it'll be a miracle. I shared on social media, if you follow me on Facebook or Insta, you already know. And I ran this by my daughter today. She was okay. She replied back to me that I could do this. And I am making a special announcement right now, y'all. My daughter, Alyssa, just let me know about a month ago that she's pregnant with twins. I'm gonna be a grandfather. And as I joked with her, like, thanks a lot, but oh my God, I am so thrilled. And she's having twin boys. She's carrying twin boys, y'all. And yeah, your old pal Glenn Victor is going to be a gramps, man. Shout out to Alyssa and my son-in-law, Cameron. Oh, my God, I love him so much. And, you know, I've talked about on this podcast before, you know, that's why I moved to Sacramento, California. I've had a lot of people asking me, you know, not so much anymore because I've been living there a year and a half, but, you know, I grew up in the Midwest in Detroit, Michigan, where I lived till I was almost 30. And then I lived in Central Florida in Orlando for about 30 years. I just turned 62 in February. I know. A lot of people tell me, well, you sure don't act like you're 62. And like I've said on here many times and joke around, I tell my kids, man, I refuse to grow up. And G, who was on earlier in the show, said, Dad, growing up is overrated. And boy, oh boy, is that the truth. So yeah, man, I often say, I hope I never become no bitter, crotchety old man. I hope to always, you know, have an upbeat and positive attitude. And I am just so excited about becoming a grandfather, y'all. And yeah, that's why I moved to Sacramento when I retired from full-time work. You know, a little time went by and, you know, I was just trying to decide where I wanted to go with things in my life. And I decided to move to Sacramento, California, so I could be closer to my daughter. And, you know, I told her and Cameron that, you know, once I got out there, I said, I swear to God, I'll never become a burden or overbearing, y'all. I know I'm a lot to unpack sometimes. And, you know, and I think, you know, I've lived up to that. It's worked out really good, you know, but there's just no substitute for being close to somebody and knowing they're right in your own backyard, you know, and being able to have dinner just spur of the moment sometimes and things to that nature. And we damn sure see each other a hell of a lot more than we would if I was still living all the way over on the East Coast. So anyway, I'm so grateful to make that announcement, y'all, and so excited. And of course, we'll talk more about that when we come back with Dare Me 2.0. So anyhow, with all that said, where I was going with that too is my son-in-law, Cameron, is a talented artist. And oh my God, does he have the pipes. And, you know, I knew he sang, you know, when you know, I you know, was first kind of learning about his musical history. I knew he was a singer in the choir at church and things to that nature and all that said. So anyway, I'm kind of dancing around it, but I talked about how, you know, I've been on this journey of learning auto-tune and working in Logic Pro and Pro Tools and all that stuff. And so I had been telling him for the last year and a half, bro, come on over, man. Let's get in the studio and, you know, do a collab on something together. And so they were over at Christmas and I was able to persuade him. It didn't take a lot, but we went in the studio and he laid down the chorus for a song that I wanted to do for my daughter, and we did it. And I gotta be honest, man, I'm still wanting to tweak it. You know, I know I can do a better job on, you know, tuning it up and all. Not that Cameron needs auto-tune. He don't, bro. He's got the pipes. And there's very little on this song that, if you haven't figured it out yet, I'm about to play. And I put just a little reel together. It's about a minute long with some beautiful pictures of my daughter and me and Cameron singing together. We did a collab on this song called California Girl. And I could play the whole thing, you know, but it's about a minute reel, y'all. So check it out. Shout out Alyssa and Cameron. Congratulations on, you know, the upcoming twins. Oh my God, I am so excited. So Dean, if you want, let's go ahead and play that video and give it a look and a listen right now. California girl, summer in her eyes, from the golden coast, I saw her passing by. There she goes, California girl. Wow. Oh my God. Yeah. So that's me and Cameron singing there. And shout out to my beautiful daughter, Alyssa, my son-in-law, Cameron. She's more of a private person, y'all. And so I haven't really, done a lot of discussion or talking, about her on the podcast intentionally. But I let her know today I wanted to, announce I was going to be a grandpa and, play that song Cam and I did. So, yeah, man, I did that reel once with the actual artist, with those photos of her. And those are all obviously some of my favorite photos of her and I and Cameron together. And so anyway, y'all, I don't mean to keep gushing at all, but I couldn't resist, man, making that special announcement. Your old pal Glenn is going to be a grandpa. The babies are due in July. And yeah, man, feeling so blessed, because now G and Awana may end up having some too. And Dean, I believe I emailed you a couple of pictures of my daughter-in-law, Awana. And if you have those handy, I thought we might show those as well, if you have them handy there. She is, like I mentioned, still in Miami. And there she is, my beautiful daughter-in-law, Juana. I meant to show these earlier when we were talking about the Dustin Poirier fight, and I forgot. But, G being buddies with Dustin, he was like, God damn, Dad, I can't fucking believe it. I lived in Miami for all those years, and then I moved to Hawaii, and then Dustin fights in Miami. And there's Awana representing, because the Miami arena where like the Heat play and everything and where the fights were last night is literally like a 10-minute walk from where they were living in Miami and where Awana still is, packing up the final things that they had there. I think there was one more picture too, Dean, of Awana, if you want to show it. And there she is, the beautiful Awana. I am so blessed, y'all, to have such a wonderful family. My son, Glenn, who, of course, was a guest on the front end of the show. Here's his beautiful wife, Awana, my daughter-in-law, my son, Cameron, who is such a cool guy, man. And we both have this music interest. We collabed on doing that song together. And then, of course, my beautiful daughter, Alyssa, who I love so much. And now our family's about to get bigger, y'all. Twin boys from Alyssa and Cameron coming in July. And I would anticipate, I have a feeling we may have an announcement from Glenn and Awana coming up sometime in the next year or so too. No pressure, y'all. We'll see. Anyhow, with all that said, y'all, man, what a great way to bring this whole podcast, first season, to a close. It's the Dare Me 1.0 version of the podcast, week 52. And man, I'm feeling so accomplished, y'all. Like we said, just kind of recapping, I will have 3 years clean and sober at midnight tonight after a 9-year addiction to opioids. I got hooked on that shit. And oh my God, it was like going through hell getting off of that stuff. I'm so grateful to have some peace in my life now, have my physical health back. Some people might say maybe not my mental health yet, but I'm working on it, y'all. And living clean and sober, and so grateful, not just for, my family who I just gushed about, also for the friends that I have, my support network, several of who we talked about on this podcast tonight. My friend Asim, who called in from Saudi Arabia, Shivang, who called in from Detroit, Michigan, my friend Leah in Sacramento, my friend Tyler, my friend Kasky back in Orlando, and Anonymous, and so on and so forth. And man, there was one more that I wanted to play, Dean, from, he was a young guy we had on the podcast, this talented musician and artist, YHB, who is the son of another close friend of mine, Stephanie, that I know from way back in high school in Garden City, Michigan. If you see this, shout out Steph. Her son, Brendan is his name, but he has a stage name, YHB. Such a talented rapper, musician, and artist. And we did a whole interview with him on the podcast. Again, if you go back to that Dare Me Podcast YouTube channel and look through the videos tab, you'll see the YHB Dare Me Podcast. And Dean, let's go ahead and play that one too, if we can. You got that handy?
What's up, y'all? It's your boy YHB here with the OG Glenn Victor, and you're watching the Dare Me Podcast.
Yes, you are, the Dare Me Podcast. So, yeah, short and sweet and to the point. And again, what a great way to end the podcast on, man. Shout out from that boy YHB and everybody else who gave us a shout out. Man, I'm just so forever grateful. Man, we've had some high-profile people tune into this podcast and acknowledge us. Just blows my mind, man. But even taking that out of the equation and aside, I think most importantly, y'all, is the people that we've helped, because that was the whole intention from the get-go. And we've heard from so many people that we've talked about on previous episodes of the show, the DMs that we've gotten, the calls we've gotten, the voicemails, we've gotten people in the chat room. I sincerely hope that we provided some content, some information that has helped at the very least inspire some people who may be struggling with addiction or mental health to get through it and get some help. Because, there's that old saying, man, I know it's cliche as hell, but I'll say it's certainly true for me, is it takes a village sometimes, and I'm so grateful for the support network that I have. And we've tried to be that for others who may be struggling as well. And so, yeah, we're grateful for all the whole high profile people that have, tuned in, given us shout outs and all that other stuff. We're also even more grateful for, all the others that have reached out for us who maybe aren't high profile people, going through struggles. And so if we have been helpful, then it's all been worth it, y'all, like we said. So, Dean, with all that said, man, I got to thank you for all your hard work on this podcast as well. Now, we do have one more video, if I recall correctly, on standby that I thought we would play at the very end of the show. Do you have that one handy?
Was that the YouTube link you sent me?
I'm trying to think if it was on there. Let me just do something. I know the screen just went for a second there, but I thought that.
No, it wasn't that. I'm not seeing any other videos here. Okay, so Glenn pops out. Okay.
I'm uploading this video. Are you still there?
Yeah.
Okay. This video that I'm talking about, I thought I uploaded it.
Yeah. I'm not sure we can pull this thing off. We are hanging by a thread here.
Yeah. I just uploaded a video to that YouTube channel that we talked about. I apologize. I thought I had sent it to you earlier, but I just thought it might be a cool way to end the show. So while you're seeing if you can do that and if you might be able to, I'm just going to take a couple minutes, Dean, to thank you again, bro, for your support of this podcast, because as I've talked about on here before, when I first brought this idea to you, I could tell you were like, as you said to me, well, Glenn, we can do this, but once you ring that bell, there's no unringing it, man. And, you and I have had a long working history together on a lot of different projects. And this one is absolutely a lot different than anything we ever worked on before. So I'm just very grateful to you for your support of what we've done with this podcast, bro. So thank you for that. And I know a lot of other people are very grateful to you for your work on it as well. So I see you working on that in the background. Were you able?
Yeah, I'm not seeing it at all. Yeah,
Really? Okay. Oh, by the way, I see we got something going on in the chat. Oh, Shivang was in the chat earlier. I was just looking there. Let me just go here. Hang on one second.
Okay, come on back. There. All right.
Yeah. Here, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the YouTube channel. Hey, y'all, we are live. As we've said many times, anything can happen live. Are you checking both the video and the shorts tab? Because I don't know if it would be under videos or.
I've uploaded it right now.
Oh, you got it. Oh,
yeah.
How about that? And my apologies to you, Dean, and everybody else. On the fly, putting the show together today, I didn't even take notes or anything like that. Kind of been doing this all from memory, the different videos and shout outs and photos that we had. Obviously like I've said before, nothing with this podcast has ever been scripted. We've tried not to be stilted. It's just kind of like homemade, us talking, and that's one of the things about Dare Me 2.0. We're going to try to level up, y'all, make it more professional, put it in a nice box with a pretty little bow and keep them to an hour and on a tight timeline and, put them out there in more of a professional way. But I will say I'm going to kind of miss doing it this way, just very casual on the fly and all that. And so with all that said, yeah, man, doing it live has been a trip because it has been one of them things of where anything can happen live. And here I am literally coming to you from the kitchen table at G's house, But anyway, Dean, I hope while you were working on that, you heard everything I said. Thanking you for everything you've done for the podcast, bro. It's meant the world to me. As I mentioned, I know it's meant a lot to a lot of other people too. Anything you want to add before we wrap up?
It's been a hell of a year, very enlightening. Gave me new things to care about. And I don't, like I said, don't have any too much on the opioid area, don't really have too much experience knowing anyone personally. You are the first. And gotta tell you, this last year has explained the last 5 years.
Yeah.
With you and me, because you were a little kind of off-puttish, 5-6 years ago, 4 years ago, whatever,
Yeah.
And now it explains a lot. So.
Yeah. Well, and you know what, Dean? I'm sorry to interrupt you, bro, but as you've shared on this podcast that you had a little mishap on a motorcycle and broke your leg, and they prescribed you opioid pain medication. And I don't want to speak for you, but I'd like to think that maybe some of the things we've talked about on this podcast made you acutely aware that, okay, if I'm going to take this pain medication, I better be damn sure I'm careful about it and not get hooked like I did.
Yeah. I mean, acutely aware, definitely. And it's just, it's not like the first time in my life someone's offered me a Percocet or after a tooth extraction or something like that. But yeah, I definitely bared through it,
Yeah.
Thanks for Advil, Tylenol, all those.
Well, and for sharing your journey with us on that. By the way, everyone, if you want to hear more about Dean's experience and journey with that, you can go back to that Dare Me Podcast YouTube channel, click on the videos tab, and we did a show live from Orlando at Dean's studio. When I was visiting Orlando, we had a couple of guests in the studio. Our old friend Marvin Lilly and Marla Stevenson, shout out to them. And Dean told his whole story, his experience of, and again, Dean, you talked about it on here before. I don't mean to speak for you, but, when you broke your leg, went to surgery, and then prescribing the medication to you afterwards. And, I don't want to sound condescending, bro, but I'm so proud of you, man, that you didn't fuck with that shit. You took what you needed to while you were in the hospital, and they sent you home with a bottle. But as you told us, you didn't even use them.
Nope, never used them. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, with all that said, I know we were going to talk about it briefly, Dean, and all, but I'll just mention it briefly. It was shout out to all of our friends in Central Florida and the Daytona area that have been enjoying all the Bike Week festivities for the last 10 days. Talking about motorcycles and all. Dean, you got to go over and have some fun over there for a little bit?
Yeah. Yep. Definitely.
Yeah, it's an experience unlike any other. Whether you're a motorcycle enthusiast or not, if you ever get a chance to go experience Bike Week in Daytona Beach, it's an experience you'll never forget. So shout out to all our biker friends. Love y'all too. Okay, well, Dean, I think that about does it, man.
Yeah.
I want to thank everyone who has tuned into and been a part of and supporter of the Dare Me podcast. I put this little video together that I pulled off of YouTube. You'll recognize it when you see it. It's just a clip from a movie that was called The Truman Show with that boy Jim Carrey. And I gotta tell y'all, some days that's kind of how I felt letting y'all into my life this way and being so vulnerable and all. Is like the fucking Truman Show. And so I just thought this might be a cool way to end the show. And so once I stop talking, we'll play the video, and that'll be it until we come back with Dare Me 2.0. So Dean, thank you again. Thank you to everybody else. So long, and we'll see you next time on the Dare Me podcast. Good night.
In case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Yeah.